Now, I was gonna make a video about whether or not John Jones should be stripped of the heavyweight belt, but then this fight was announced this morning, and I had to make a video about it because I have a lot to say about Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludovit Klein. If you guys haven't heard, earlier this morning, it's been confirmed by Mateusz Gamrot will be fighting Ludovit Klein at the UFC APEX on May 31st. I think Mateusz Gamrot has been done dirty this for this matchup because on paper this matchup doesn't make any sense. You know, Mateusz Gamrot, he won 3 out of his last 4 fights. I know he lost to Dan Hooker, but I'll get to that in later in the video. And Ludovit Klein, I know he's on the come up, and I'm very high on Ludovit Klein, but this is a very big jump up in competition that I did not expect. Am I necessarily complaining about the jump up? No, because again, I'm a fan of Ludwig Klein, and I think Ludwig Klein will be able to get the job done. But I just want to speak out as to how dirty the UFC has done Mateusz Gamrot. Because again, first off, this fight is in the Apex, but also I think this is one of the worst stylistic matchups for Mateusz Gamrot, in my opinion. Like Klein, if you guys haven't watched any of Klein's fights, he is one of the best anti wrestlers I have ever watched on the come up, at least. And Mateusz Gamrot, if you guys haven't watched his fights, all he does is chain wrestle, or at least try to, and that's how he's able to win majority of his fights is by taking someone down and then just kind of holding and maintaining position for majority of the fight. Gamrot can strike on the feet, but it's nothing really dangerous. Like he will land shots on you, but again, I don't fear anything coming from Mateusz Gamrot's way, especially if I'm his opponent, because he can land on you, but it's not going to be anything that impactful unless you're Dan Hooker, who ironically got dropped by Gamrot. But again, Ludovit Klein, dangerous Muay Thai guy with the best anti wrestling outside of the rankings of the lightweight division. And I think this is the end for Mateusz Gamrot. Over the course of 3 rounds, especially, which I'll get to in a second, I don't see Mateusz Gamrot having the necessary tools to beat Ludovit Klein, in my opinion. Like maybe Gamrot's wrestling is just really good, and Klein just hasn't fought someone at the level of Mateusz Gamrot, which is fair to say. But at the same time, just comparing these two guys side by side, I think Ludovit Klein can do enough to keep the fight on the feet. And on the feet, I think Ludovit Klein has way more options than Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot primarily just likes to box, and he doesn't really throw that much else. Whereas Ludovit Klein, again, very good Muay Thai artist. He has dangerous high kicks, and he's got wicked boxing combinations. I just don't think Mateusz Gamrot stylistically fits well into this matchup. And before I want to break down how disrespectful this is to Mateusz Gamrot, however, we got to take a look at this because this is on UFC Fight Night Blanchfield versus Barber. Not only is Mateusz Gamrot fighting in the UFC Apex, they didn't even make him the main event. Like they made Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber the main event of this event before Mateusz Gamrot and Ludwig Klein. Who the fuck cares about Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber? I'm sorry. Nobody fucking cares about this. The only time people care is to watch Macy Barber highlights, aka Gooning Tour. Like other than that, I've never heard someone go, "Oh yeah, we really should turn on that Macy Barber fight." Like what the fuck are we doing here, UFC? We have two top 15-ish level uh fighters in the lightweight division, and we can't even put them on the main event of an Apex card. Instead, we gotta highlight fucking dog shit women's MMA fights. I know they're top 5 in the world, but let's be honest, they're fucking dog shit. And they're not even the co-main event. You have this bum over here in Ramiz Brahimaj versus Oban Elliott. Okay, fair enough. Oban Elliott's cool. I don't think he's nearly the name of a Mateusz Gamrot or a Ludovit Klein, though. I think that's not a hot take to say, especially if he's fighting a bum like Ramiz Brahimaj. I know Ramiz Brahimaj just won his fight against who was it? Let me see here. Oh yeah, he won against Mickey Gall. All right, like if you're telling me that Rahiz Brahimaj deserves a co-main event slot in the Apex just because he beat Mickey Gall in 2024, I'm sorry. I think you're out of touch with the sport. Like before that, he got kind of manhandled by Themba Gorimbo, and Themba Gorimbo isn't all that good. Overall, I think this is an outrage because again, we could have at least put Ludovit Klein and Mateusz Gamrot as the main event of this Apex event, but now the only good fight on this card, or like the high level fight on this card, is only for 3 rounds because for some reason the UFC hates Mateusz Gamrot, and the UFC would rather put fucking WMMA fights as the headliner over an actually good fight in Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludovit Klein. Last but not least, I want to kind of talk about Mateusz Gamrot's match history as to why this matchup doesn't make any sense. We have over here Gamrot versus Hooker by split decision. Listen, I rewatched the fight. I thought Gamrot beat Hooker. I thought Gamrot did well in rounds 1 and 3. I think Gamrot dropped Hooker in round 1, I believe, to secure him the round. I know Hooker did as well, but it kind of cancels out by the fact that Gamrot landed the more consistent shots in round 1. And round 3, again, I know Hooker did well, but I thought Gamrot just outlanded Hooker. Now, I will say this. I think a lot of people aren't fans of Gamrot because of his fight with Rafael dos Anjos. I get it. I get it. That was a shitty performance. But at the same time, it people make it out as if this is the average performance you should expect from Mateusz Gamrot. I think this was kind of a dud, to be honest. Like, Gamrot is fun if the opponent is somewhat good. It's kind of similar to an Evloev case, except that Gamrot actually has more finishing potential than Evloev's for some reason. Does that mean that Gamrot's necessarily better? No, but I would still pick Mateusz Gamrot over a Movsar Evloev fight in terms of excitement because Gamrot actually has finishing potential. Like, look at here. Back in the day, he finished Carlos Diego Ferreira. Like, looking back at it, that's an impressive win. He also finished Jeremy Stevens. I know Jeremy Stevens isn't that amazing on the ground. And also, Jeremy Stevens was moving up on short notice as a lightweight. But again, Gamrot submitted him in the first round, as as we expect. Like maybe if Movsar Evloev did that to someone that we expected him to finish, I wouldn't be saying that. But again, Gamrot has more finishing potential, and he's more active, in my opinion. That's why I prefer Gamrot over Movsar Evloev. But regardless of my rant over Movsar Evloev, I think this is hella disrespectful to Mateusz Gamrot because he lost one fight to Dan Hooker, arguably should have won that fight, and he won 3 out of his last 4 fights. I don't think, this should have been the matchup for, Ludovit Klein. As high as I am on Ludovit Klein, and I do believe that Ludovit Klein will win this fight, I don't think, we should have put Ludovit Klein in this situation where he gets a top 7 opponent for his ranking debut. Like, we could have given someone other than Mateusz Gamrot in the top 15. Like, looking back over in the rankings, we could have given him Benoit Saint-Denis, and Grant Dawson, maybe not. We could have given him Michael Chandler, honestly. We could have just waited for Michael Chandler to heal up and then given him Michael Chandler. Rafael Fiziev, I think he's booked with Ignacio Bahamondes, so maybe not. Maybe you could have given him a Hanato Meikano. Like, I think that would have been a cool fight. I do think that would have been cool, but I don't know. There could have been something that would have been more justifiable for Ludovit Klein, in my opinion. Because if Ludovit Klein beats Mateusz Gamrot, he's number 7. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very high on Ludovit Klein, but I think this is a step too soon. for Ludovit Klein, in my opinion. So overall, I'm gonna say this. Congrats on Ludovit Klein to making the top 10. And I think, unfortunately for Mateusz Gamrot, it's gonna be over for him. And I can't wait for this fight. If there's anything I will say about this, though, please, UFC, make this fight 5 rounds. Do not make this the feature fight of this shitty Apex card over here with Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber as the main event and Ramiz Brahimaj on the co-main event slot. Please, UFC, listen to the fans for once and make this the main event for once, at least. But yeah, other than that, I have nothing to say about this fight other than good congrats to Ludwig Klein. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe and also leave a comment down below what you guys think about Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludwig Klein. Do you think Mateusz Gamrot actually will beat Ludwig Klein? Or is this it for Mateusz Gamrot? Because let's be honest, Dana White hates Mateusz Gamrot. Leave a comment down below what you think about the matchup overall. But other than that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.